we'll return to this. There's another category, and this is more difficult to understand, and that is electromagnetic assets. And these include electromagnetic systems that could optically, like a very advanced hologram, simulate an event. Electromagnetic systems that have been called popularly electronic warfare systems that are psychotronic and radionic, that interface with consciousness and thought. And electromagnetic systems that can affect large segments of the population when targeted. Now, these began to be developed quite in an advanced fashion by the 40s and 50s. And by 1956, it had been accomplished to the point of state-of-the-art. Now, I want to talk about another level of this, and this is a more complex one than what I've shared. And that is the electromagnetic systems, human-controlled, that affect consciousness and the human experience. Back in 1994, I met a man who headed up a research and development effort in the 50s. And he had developed an electronic system so that you could put on a headset and alter anyone, not a trained psychic, but anyone, so that they could remote view through consciousness the field of mind any place on Earth. He offered this system to me as the director of CSETI, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, because our prime mission is to create a time of universal peace and open contact. And we use remote viewing, but we use the more innate capability, meditative faculties, as you probably know. And I said, no, I don't want that, because that's going to lend itself to being misused. And he says, you're very wise. It has been misused. So after he developed it, the CIA set up a front company, I believe he called it Electromagnetic Corporation, that bought this technology and then took it in subterranean and has been developing it ever since. So he said, we developed this so well that we can target somebody with an electromagnetic field that has embedded in it like a script or a hologram or a series of experiences, like a lucid dream. And that person will believe it's real. And it'll be indistinguishable from reality. And I am quoting now from this senior scientist. He said, it is so good that if we want you to have a personal conversation with your personal God, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whoever it is, you'll have it, you will think it's real, and you will absolutely pass a lie detector test that it happened. That's how good it is. Now, that was fully operational in 1956, 60 years ago. So now you combine that with the conventional stuff like MK Ultra. Everybody know the song Muse, the rock group did a song called MK Ultra. But the MK Ultra stands for mind control, K like German control. And it was acknowledged CIA program. It came out during the Senator Church hearings back some years ago in the 70s, I believe. And they were using, what they acknowledged through those hearings was they were using LSD and other things to do mind control. The part of it that did not get acknowledged in the church hearings on Capitol Hill is what I'm discussing now. That was kept secret. And that's the electromagnetic systems. Some people call these radionic and psychotronic systems that can affect consciousness. They can also affect biological systems. They can induce cancers. They can induce heart attacks. They can do a lot of nasty stuff with these weapons. And they have. So just you be aware that that level, this is now going into a deeper level of operational capability than, let's say, these anti-gravity craft. Because now you combine this with chemical hallucinogenic systems, electromagnetic mind-altering targeting systems, the stagecraft or program life forms, or small people who are made up to look like an ET. And boy, can you fool a lot of folks. A whole group of people I have here who have come forward with these electromagnetic weapon systems, and how innocent people have been victimized, targeted by them. And being one of those people, and I've been someone who has been targeted with these systems, I can tell you that if you know they exist, you won't be fooled by them. If you don't know they exist, you will. This is why, in the Vedas it says knowledge is the greatest purifier. If we have knowledge, then we can discern. If we have no knowledge and no information and we're in the dark, we can be deceived. And this is also why Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden put out years ago this book called The Real Star Wars. And Tony Craddock, my friend, just released it. I wrote the foreword to it. I had a copy of it here somewhere. And it's about these electromagnetic, radionic, and psychotronic systems. And this was released in the 80s. It's a little monograph this big. And Lieutenant Colonel Bearden knew about this. And so he began to talk about it. Now, so he could talk about it and not get in trouble, he always referred to it as Soviet technology. That was just a ruse. He had to. Because he had very top secret clearances. Mm-hmm.
In the dreams and in the sightings that people experience, how can they authenticate the real, genuine article versus phony, illusional things? Mm-hmm. Like when you said you had a lucid dream with, how do you know that's real and that's not a directed operation type of situation?
That's right. And this is a great question because, how do you know? Well, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. And you also have to know enough that there could be both. If you don't know there could be both, you're never going to ask the question, was it one or the other, right? Whether it was ET or some man-made electronic warfare system. So knowing that is the first step. Then the second step is looking at how it unfolded. Were there, and I've actually interviewed a number of people who had really clear memories of an alien abduction. But then when they go deeper into their memory, there were people who were directing these robotic aliens. Now that's gotten covered up in a lot of the abduction research. So a part of it is looking at this and beginning to question everything. And I think if anything, tonight what I'd like to tell people is question everything and begin to look at everything very freshly.